If you've ever been caught whispering to an empty room, most people assume something's wrong. But psychology tells a completely different story. You're not losing grip, you're actually doing something far more sophisticated. Your brain is moving so fast that speaking becomes a necessity, a release valve for thoughts that can't be contained silently. Let's look at the first reason this happens. When you talk to yourself, you're not inventing invisible companions, you're giving your ideas a physical form. Researchers have found that speaking a thought aloud transforms it from abstract fog into something solid, something you can hold up to the light and inspect from all angles. While others wander through mental haze, you're sculpting clarity with your voice. You don't just think, you construct. Why does this matter? Because silence for you isn't peaceful, it's limiting. But this instinct to vocalize isn't just about structuring chaos. There's a deeper, more ancient mechanism at work. Imagine your ancestors scanning the tree line. They didn't just look, they named what they sought. That evolutionary wiring still lives in you. This brings us to trait number 2. You're using speech as a targeting system. When you mutter wallet or phone under your breath, you're not talking to the furniture. You're activating your visual cortex the way a hunter scans for prey. Cognitive science calls this verbal cueing. Your own voice becomes a search command. While other people spin in circles, running on instinct and luck, you're literally programming your brain to see faster. So you're organized, you're efficient. But what happens when the pressure hits? Trait 3 is something most people spend years in therapy trying to learn. You've already built it yourself. When you say, "You've got this," or "Why did you do that?" speaking to yourself as if you were a coach or a friend, you are performing what psychologists call distanced self-talk. This small linguistic shift creates a gap between you and your emotion, and in that gap, you find perspective. You don't drown in anxiety. You stand on the bank and watch it flow past. You become your own anchor in rough water. Think about that for a second. While others are hunting for someone to calm them down, you're already doing it internally. That's not strange. That's self-sufficiency at the level of neurology. But there's one more piece. You've probably noticed that when you speak something aloud, it sticks. Maybe it's a password, a name, a deadline. You say it, and suddenly it's locked in. This is the production effect in action. Silent reading touches the surface. Speaking drives the information deeper, carves a groove into your neural pathways. You aren't repeating things because you're forgetful. You're repeating them because your brain instinctively knows that voiced information gets priority storage. You're curating your own memory, deciding what matters enough to keep. Your voice is the bookmark your brain never loses. Let's connect this. If you narrate your life under your breath, if you argue both sides of a decision in the shower, if you whisper reminders to yourself like a personal assistant, you are not malfunctioning. You are running a high-performance operating system that requires an output channel. Focus, emotional regulation, memory retention. These aren't accidents, they're upgrades. The world tends to misinterpret what it doesn't understand, but now you understand. So the next time someone raises an eyebrow because you answered a question nobody asked, don't shrink. You're not talking to the void. You're talking to the one person who always listens with total attention. If this described you, if you're part of the quiet army that thinks in full volume, drop a brain emoji in the comments and let us know how often you catch yourself in a solo conversation. And if you want more content that doesn't just inform you, but actually sees you, hit that subscribe button right now and join the community at Winds of Thought, because the next video might finally explain why you feel exhausted after a day of doing nothing.